Hello friends, Valentina Lavrentieva here. Today my nails are in the frame, right? In general, today we will see how they do a simple manicure on natural nails, compare a couple of removers with each other, and most importantly, show the nail restoration system. Write in the comments who tried, who understood how this crap works, and who did not understand. In general, we have natural nails and two such removers, one of which is very expensive, which is 12 milliliters in volume. The other is 20 milliliters. You can just douse yourself with it and it probably won't even run out. We will compare them. In general, the difference is that the one who is he is really liquid. Look, he is such, well, not like water, slightly gel-like, but mostly liquid. The second one comes with a brush and has a gel-like consistency, meaning it doesn't flow. So the differences we have now are consistency, cost, volume, and action time. The expensive one works in 30 seconds, while the cheap one works for us in 3 minutes. Now we apply the one that works for us to the specified finger, to my specified finger. We wait 30 seconds while these 30 seconds are working. 3 minutes while they are working. I apply the 30-second one. I also looked at their composition. They have a lot of similar components. The more gel-like product is generally more comfortable to apply, but it's best to draw your own conclusions. But here I will also leave you pictures of how much per milliliter. More precisely, not pictures, but inscriptions. Yes, in short, it's clear that the house per milliliter is much cheaper. And they work in the following way. That is, they give absolutely the same effect with both of these removers, and any remover will give you such an effect. They give a maceration effect, that is, as if we held our hands in water. Well, that same classic manicure that was before, then they came up with removers. I use a pusher for work with a remover. I have a metal one. I am a fan of metal pushers. Because the apple tree here has long wilted, because it would have rotted, it would have spread in different directions, and we would have had to change one for another or somehow prop it up, dry it out, and so on. Generally, I prefer a metal pusher since it also has a second side called a spatula. In short, you get the idea. But the main idea of the video is to show you that in reality, no remover, neither expensive nor cheap, will remove the cuticle despite its name remover. That is, it removes pterygium, cleans the pocket, that's all. It makes the work of the pusher easier and so on. It can be used as a replacement for milling cutter treatment. That is what I am doing right now in front of you on video. This is the work that we usually do with a milling cutter. That is, it prepares the cuticle for cutting, but it will never completely remove all the skin for you. That is, not a single remover works the way you imagined and the way I imagined in my time. That is, I also really sincerely believed that there is a remover, some kind of magical one. Once it removes your cuticle, nonsense, it won't remove anything, only doing such work. And by and large, when I did these two fingers on the expensive medium cheap pointer, I in essence did not see any difference. Just guess which one, don't guess on the other. I armed myself with pieces to cut the cuticle. Now there will be a deadly number. In fact, for me, it's a cuticle cut on myself. This is such a terrible occupation because you see the nail not at that angle as much as you are used to doing it when you work with a client. And this, to be honest, is terrible. I really don't like it because no matter how hard I try, I can't cut it beautifully. I didn't have such a task. I do my manicures at home without using a machine. In this case, the goal was to make such a review. And most importantly, the IBIS system awaits us further. Now I will talk about it while it is necessary to finish the cut. So we get such a shaggy sausage. As you can see, my skin is like this. Well, not a fountain, it's dry, it's lived a life, it's seen sights. And I've been walking around without a cover for about half a year now while I'm walking on lacquer. Right now, by the way, I have on the lacquer that we will be covering later. I will show that too. I'm showing that I cut off from myself, and you can see on the very pad of the finger that the skin is dry. But actually speaking, the culprits are the nail restoration system. These are two such jars. This is a brand, it's called. Write in the comments who has tried this, who is actually working on this, who has been trained on this. I started using these two jars having read the instructions. But to be honest, I already had such experience. Zhenya Iman already did it for me. More than once, and in principle, well, in general and on the whole, I was satisfied with the result, plus or minus. I thought that, well, as if the nails start to look better, That is, the point is that this tool penetrates into the nail plate and somehow thickens and glues the scales. I, of course, now when the nails have fully grown, it's not that everything is completely bad, but I wanted to try. This special item is now exclusively available only at the Cuticle Pro store. Really, it's the pure truth. Well, or it might be somewhere, maybe in leftovers. I know there are other similar companies. Damn, I won't name the brand now, but in short, there are analogs. Right, if anyone has tried, I've only seen. Well, as you see, this is what my nails look like. So the first bottle is cold, and the entrance is going on here. Yes, we won't be trying it on his hair, but we'll try it on the nails. Because the point is to heat up this composition, and at the moment of heating, it should penetrate inside our nails. In my opinion, you need to heat it for 4 minutes the first time and 2 minutes the second time. After that, the instructions say that you need to soak it off with a non-acetone wipe to remove the excess moisture. And then it needs to be sent to the lamp for polymerization. Honestly, I don't quite understand why it needs to go to the polymerization lamp, because absolutely nothing polymerized there. But if it's written in the instructions, if people have thought of it, let's do it as it's supposed to be done. When Jenya did my nails, she used the same method. I felt it had an effect. Here's what the nails look like, especially on the ring finger. I don't have some super scary onycholysis there, just the most ordinary one. It will grow back from the impact. Everything will be fine there. Next is the second composition, that is the second jar. They look absolutely identical. They are very, very liquid. Therefore, it is recommended to press the brush well inside the bottle so that it does not spread on the sides. In general, visually the same composition. They smell differently. So after all, there is something different in these bottles. I apply it exactly the same way and turn on the hairdryer again. We dry and heat it all the same way. It is written there, by the way, that you can use a heating lamp or a hairdryer. I didn't have a heating lamp at hand, but I do have a hairdryer at home, so I tried it. We clean everything up exactly the same way after this. It is written in the instructions to go over it with a degreaser. And now we look at the nails. I will now remove this sticky layer and look at the nails. Well, write your opinion in the comments. It seems to me that something has become better. Here's the basic coating. It's straight. I tried to put a price on the picture, but it's really cheap. That is, it's of the cheap segment, and I didn't like this basic tool. It takes a long time to dry and lays down a thick layer. The brush is also shaggy. How do we give it a dislike? And here are two varnishes from who uses varnishes knows that the brand is quite popular and very, very good. One of them is full-sized, while the other is a miniature. The miniature didn't really please my eye, as I realized the brush is not the most convenient. But in application, it's quite okay. Well, as you can see, it's nothing. It applies quite decently. Crucially, it doesn't dry out on the road, but dries very quickly in the end. That is, I dried these nails, listen, well, a minute probably for 15. I think this is absolutely adequate. And here is the full-size Masura in a different shade from the same series, such a gray, beige, milky shade. And everything there is with buns from Yuki. The website's colors seemed beautiful to me, and they are in real life too, but this was actually visible on the skin of my hands. Now well, I think they don't really suit me. So what do you think? I don't think it's very good. That is, the shades are too cold and make my skin of hands gray. This needs to be selected, but here, it just doesn't fit. Still, I like milky varnishes, I like shiny ones, I like sandy varnishes. Of course, I really like any kind of red and bright varnishes because it's great that you can apply it quickly and remove it quickly. The most important thing for me in varnishes is that the varnish is comfortable to wear, that it has a brush. I like it when it's oval, and the main thing is that it dries quickly. Varnishes will definitely dry quickly. This is the result we got, and I couldn't pass by the top from because I heard it was good, so I ordered the top. So it's a dryer and a gloss. The bottle is beautiful, similar to the removers. The brush is the same, rounded and oval, making application very easy. A good top coat should definitely not have such a thing that it dissolves the color layers. Sometimes when you apply foundation, it smears. However, this one doesn't smear and dries very quickly. And after applying, we get such a nice shine. Of course, we won't have a super round shine and so on because we're not leveling anything here. Our nails are just as they are. We must admit that the lacquer system is a lacquer system, not gels or what we're used to. There won't be any super ideal architecture, but it will be very acceptable and, in my opinion, beautiful. Well, as a person who has been using lacquer for a long time, I can say that you can live with my nails. Now, this is such a coating and it's 9 days. I'll show at the end how the nails with lacquer look after 9 days. I want to say that if applied correctly, which is base, color, and top, then everything will wear normally. I think the manicure is quite decent. Well, I removed it like this, with a bottle, as they usually photographed it before. It seemed to me that this is quite fun. But yes, unfortunately, the colors do not suit me. Nevertheless, the experiment continues. These are my nails. The next day, I soaked myself in oil. In cold paraffin, I applied a bunch of everything on myself to finally moisturize the skin. This situation is already outrageous. Here is the result of these nails after just 9 days. Everything has already grown back. Yes, the nails have regrown in 9 days. And, of course, I tried another base on this finger that I ordered. The cuticles have grown out significantly, considering the polish has been on for 9 days. I think it's a great result, considering that I washed dishes, went on 2 business trips, and hosted 2 events. And on my index finger, I had another test that ruined the polish. Therefore, well, it's not considered part of the series. So I have this, but it's far away, or let's say in the process of life, it seems quite acceptable. That wraps up my review for today. Thanks to all who tuned in.